It is May 20th. It's a Monday. And today I'm going to talk about how I've entered stock accumulation time. But first, let's go into the account and I'll show you what's been happening here. It's been some carnage. The biggest loser of today, of course, is Apple. If it wasn't for Apple, I actually would have been up on the day. If you can actually know, close. Just up until this one tick that happened just right now. I would have been up a few dollars, but Apple just dropped even more. Oh man, okay. This is live. So big devaluation there, $3 on Apple. But anyways, if it wasn't for Apple, no, I just corrected, okay. I would have been actually up on the day, but it's dragging me down a bit. Would have been up $20, but now I'm down 605. And there's been a lot of worries about Apple and the trade war in China and Huawei and that technological war, but I'm still bullish on it. Maybe I'll talk about the reasoning of that some other day, but continuing on, EXK has been sitting pretty flat. The last I bought EXK was 178. As you may know from previous video logs that I'm accumulating shares now of EXK. So I have 900 at the moment. Last time I bought was 178. Now it's sitting at 180. Spotify down $12. SH, which is the market short ETF, is up $10. Markets were down a little bit today. And other notable movers, Realty Income is down $19. Nothing too special. Cameco is up $34. The uranium play is back a little bit. Precious metals are pretty flat. Emerging markets up a tiny bit. So that's about it. Not a lot of movement with the exception of Apple here. It's just a big, enormous drop. So what I mean by stock accumulation, when I was peaked out at somewhere, let's actually go in here. When I peaked out somewhere around over here, when it started peaking out at 55, 53, 54, 55,000, I started converting a lot of the stocks I had into things like cash and bonds, emerging market bonds, etc. And you'll see that I accumulated. I have GSY, which I still have another $500 in it, which is short-term treasuries, US treasuries. And then I have under PCY, I have another $5,000 that are ready to be deployed for the purchase of things like EXK and Apple. And so the way it works is once I reach a certain level, then I'm going to start, converting those bonds and stuff like that into stocks. And I've already started that on the way down. As you can see here, the account peaked out, and even just a little bit down, a few $1,000, I started already accumulating XK because it was down. And so now, I'm accumulating some Apple. I already have 110 shares of Apple instead of 100, which is what I used to trade options with. But now I'm just too scared to sell calls at these prices. So if I could sell puts, I would. But in order to do that, I have to go into debt. So I'd have to go into margin. The next best thing is just to accumulate stock, which is kind of what I've been doing. So I just bought a share for $182. And if I go to previous action, bought 5 shares in 185, which is close to the current price. And then 2 shares at 196, 1 share at 203, etc. So these are the shares that I've been accumulating at sub 200 roughly. And hopefully I'm able to keep up with this downtrend. So as Apple drops down, this is the 1-year chart of Apple. As Apple drops down, I'm going to try to accumulate, and at some point, if it reaches 150, 160, what the next step is, I'll be out of cash by then, right? So especially if I need to pull some of those emerging market bonds into EXK. So instead of buying, I'll be going in margin to sell puts. All right. So what I'm gonna do is what I did in the late at the end of last year, December, which caused me to have those huge gains in January and February. One of the things I did was I sold the put on Apple, so I'm gonna do the same, and it's gonna be a leap, a long-term equity appreciation product, whatever. They just try to make a fancy acronym. So a leap is just basically a long-term option. So I'm going to be selling a put into January 2020, probably around 180, 190. So I'm going to be collecting $2,000 from that, and hopefully the price of Apple appreciates up to that. But this is going to be a much bigger number. This 1895 is going to be like $4,000 if Apple drops down to 150. So I will collect that, and as soon as Apple bumps up a thousand or so, this depreciates $1,000. I'll buy it back for a gain of 1,000 or $2,000, or I can just wait until January 17, 2020, and just let the contract purchase Apple 100 shares of Apple stock at 190 for me. And the downside of doing this though is that I have to be paying 5% interest on that money per annum. So annualized, not per month. So it's gonna be, it's gonna be tight, it's gonna be difficult, it's gonna be risky. However, with great risk comes great reward. And it's better to do this kinds of moves when the market is down, because it tends to revert to some kind of a mean over time. So whenever the market sells off hard, you want to make those risky moves then. At least, don't take my advice. It's what I'm doing. All right. So I'm going to be taking these risks. So you can see how from $43,000 or so, the account was able to go all the way up to $58,800. Which is huge. It's like $15,000 appreciation there, which is quite a bit. I'm trying to see if I can replicate some of that move over the course of the year and see if I can see if I'll be successful doing it. Part of the big reasons why I had such big appreciation is the scaling method from EXK that I did, and I'm trying to do that now. I talked about the EXK scaling in a previous video, so I'm not going to go over it again. And then now I'm trying to accumulate even more Apple share, and then if Apple does drop down to 150, 160, and if it makes a similar move back up, the dollar gain will be even greater, because now I have more shares and I have more contracts. I can borrow up to a little over $70,000 on Robinhood. So the price appreciation will be even more dramatic than what you see here in the account in January and February. I'm hoping that it doesn't really matter what happens. So if the price drops, I'll set up for big gains, and if the price just keeps going up, then I already have 110 Apple shares, I already have some EXK, then I can just sell that off. It's just going to be not as dramatic. The move is not going to be as dramatic as it would if the market corrected quite a bit. Now, I'm not afraid of being long the markets for reasons that I've outlined in previous videos. I already talked about how I always try to be at least 55% long on the market at all times, and why markets tend to go up over time. I outlined some of those reasons, so I'm really not afraid of being long on the market. I just try to beat the market. So in order to beat the market, it's necessary for me to sell some of it off whenever the market is being, wildly optimistic and overvalued based on whatever metrics you choose. And I want to be able to accumulate. I want to be able to do better than the market. Today I did not do better than the market thanks to Apple, but it's giving me an opportunity to buy some more shares. And then if it keeps dropping, I'll just keep buying even more. I don't believe that Apple's close to bankruptcy. I don't think they're gonna go run out of business tomorrow or even next year or the year after that. So it's kind of a safe bet, and it moves a lot. So it's a very good opportunity to make money. There is bad news on the horizon though. Like, they're not leaders of technology anymore. Chinese companies like Huawei are doing incredible things with their tech. Asia has like folding phones now, and they're already out. Apple hasn't even thought about doing that. I mean, I'm sure they've thought about it, but there's no sign that they're going that direction. I'm not even sure if that's going to be the direction, but from the reviews I've seen, of phones, people are very happy with them. They think they're pretty cool and stuff. So I'm not a tech guy, so I just just manage money. So I don't know all the ins and outs. But anyway, that's just what I'm doing right now. I'm trying to scale back in, and I'm definitely in stock accumulation mode as the market is dropping. I'm just searching for deals. I'm not looking to sell anything off at the moment. I think this trend is gonna revert back maybe in a week, 2, 3, 4, maybe a couple months. But by then I'll probably have turned everything into stock and be in all risk. All risk. The entire account would be all risk. No defensive plays whatsoever. I still have SH. So I still have SH over here, which is, the market short ETF. And I have $1,500. That's probably going to go into EXK or Apple as well. So I have over $6,500 to buy stock with. All right. So I still have plenty of, quote unquote, they call it dry powder. Excuse me, to buy some more stocks and to make some future gains if I'm patient enough. So that's what's going on with the account. Hopefully the strategy works out yet again. I'm pretty sure it will. I just don't know the timing. No one ever does. So we'll see what market has to say. All right. I'm going to go into Bulgaria on Wednesday, which is a couple of days from now. So probably won't be making videos for a little bit. I will try my hardest to make a recording in Bulgaria and then give some updates and maybe show you some of the scenery over there. I might even stop by Greece for a few days to check it out. So I'll try to give you some picturesque imagery from then on, and I may even include some pictures here from my recent trip to Big Bear. So we'll see if I can put that into the into the video. All right. That being said, peace out.